England have beaten Croatia 4-2, drawn 0-0 with Ghana and beaten Panama 2-0 in the final group game. On paper, fine. In practice, worrying because the Ghana draw told you everything you need to know. A compact, organised defensive unit came to frustrate England, and England had no meaningful answer. The strategy, most importantly, did not change. The shape did not change. The approach was only more of the same, only slightly quicker at times. And slightly quicker is not a tactical solution. So next we're going to talk about the Tuchel problem. Thomas Tuchel is a better manager than Gareth Southgate, in my opinion. I want to say that clearly because what follows is not a defence of Southgate. Southgate was a manager that had lucky draws in terms of the opposition that we faced, which hid structural problems of his squad behind runs in tournaments that felt like progress without actually being progress. But Tuchel has a specific, well-documented limitation that his Bayern Munich stint confirmed, and his current England tenure is confirming again. He's rigid, his systems are set, his teams lack creativity and spontaneity, and he is not comfortable improvising when a fixed approach is not working. Uli Hoeneß, Bayern's honorary president, called Tuchel a catastrophe for the club, who killed the entertainment value through his negative style of football. Vincent Kompany came in and took the same group of players to an average of 3.5 goals per game, smashing Tuchel's career average of around 2.3 to 2.5. Vincent Kompany's Bayern have become the fastest team in club history to reach 102 goals. The players did not change, the manager changed. So we watched France against Norway in this tournament, against a deep defensive block, exactly what England faced against Ghana. France had solutions. The players were not confined to straight lines. They had the flexibility to find angles, to improvise, to surprise. Norway never looked like they would hold out. And against Ghana, England never looked like they would break through. So next they're going to look at the system picks the squad. Here is the most damning single fact about Tuchel's approach. Phil Foden, Premier League Player of the Season 2023-2024, PFA Players Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year, one of the most naturally creative players England has produced in a generation, is not in this squad. Cole Palmer, FIFPRO World XI 2025 winner, FIFA Club World Cup Golden Ball winner, Conference League winner with Chelsea, is not in this squad. Tuchel said himself he picked the best team, not the 26 most talented players. That sentence is the key to understanding everything that follows. He is not selecting for talent, he is selecting for fit. And the fit is his system, which means that the system is picking the squad, not the squad informing the system. And when your system excludes the most creative players available to you, and then fails to break down the defensive block, the question answers itself. And while Tuchel was leaving out Foden and Palmer, he was also leaving himself without adequate right-back cover. Livramento out injured before the tournament began, Reece James nursing a hamstring, and against Panama, Jarell Konsa, already out of position, limped off with an ankle injury. Pundits are now criticising the squad selection for leaving England exposed in the most basic positional area. He left out the creativity and still did not cover the basics. That is the full picture of what it means when the system picks the squad. A system that cannot accommodate Phil Foden or Cole Palmer is not a system that is fit for England's potential. It is a system that is a fit for Thomas Tuchel's comfort zone. Next, I'm going to talk about the players paying the price. Declan Rice, the player who captained West Ham to European success. The player Arsenal spent over £100 million to acquire. Not because he sits in front of the back four and protects, but because he gets up and down the pitch, carries the ball, arrives late in the box, has a shot and a dribble and passing range that operates at the highest level. That player has been progressively boxed in. At Arsenal, in a more defensive holding role than his profile demands, and now at England, under Tuchel in the same straitjacket. Rice has the engine, the range, the shot, the dribble, every attribute of a complete box-to-box midfielder at the highest level. But Tuchel's system does not want a complete box-to-box midfielder. It wants a holding midfielder who stays put. And a player of Rice's quality playing within those limits is a waste of one of England's most complete players. Next, we're going to talk about Bellingham and Kane, greatness half used. Jude Bellingham is a world-class player in a restrictive role. What we have seen from him in this tournament is not Bellingham at his ceiling, it is Bellingham stretching Tuchel's rules without breaking them. That run from the halfway line and the finish, that is sheer individual brilliance, operating despite of the system, not because of it. Give him Francis-style freedom and that becomes the baseline, not the highlight. And Harry Kane, the #1 ranked striker in the world right now per 424 magazine, now the all-time England World Cup goalscorer, having just broken Gary Lineker's record with their clinical header against Panama. In the first half of that game, he had 8 touches in 37 minutes. 8. The world's best striker, invisible for the first half of a group game against a team that was already eliminated. Then in the second half, given service, he scored immediately. That is not Kane failing England, it is England failing Kane, and Kane is rescuing England anyway. The system is not creating chances for England's best players. It is creating a framework in which England's best players occasionally create chances despite of the system. Those are completely different things, and the difference is visible every time England play a team that is organised and willing to sit deep. So next we're going to talk about, is Tuchel the right man? In February 2026, Tuchel signed a 2-year contract extension with the FA, keeping him until the end of Euro 2028. The FA included performance clauses tied to the World Cup success, and I understand the logic. You don't want a World Cup manager entering a tournament on a lame duck deal, but I suspect those performance clauses are already feeling very relevant right now to the FA. Because what we have seen is a manager who is good enough to beat Croatia, not good enough to unlock Ghana, and showing no sign of the tactical flexibility that the knockout rounds will undoubtedly demand. My position is he's better than Southgate, but better than Southgate, despite Southgate being a very lovely man, is a very low bar. The question is whether he's good enough for this squad, and I do not think that answer is yes. I think England are being restricted by a fixed, limited mindset in a manager who does not want creativity. He wants roles, he wants predictability, and the system above all else. And that will have a ceiling in this tournament that we will hit the moment we face a team as good as France, or Brazil, or Spain. Player for player, position for position, England should not be doing worse than France right now. We have the talent, we have the depth, but we do not have a manager willing to use it. If England go out of this tournament without expressing what this squad is actually capable of, the conversation about Tuchel's contract needs to happen regardless of what it costs the FA to have it. So in conclusion, I would rather England play with freedom and risk going out than play safe and go out anyway. We saw what happened to Scotland, and that is exactly the trajectory we are currently on. We have Harry Kane, we have Jude Bellingham, we have Declan Rice and others, but those 3 alone, given the right system and the right freedom, should be making teams afraid of us. Right now, unlikely. And that is on the manager. All the best to England. Listen, I hope I am wrong about all of this, but hope is not a strategy, and it never has been. Best of luck to England in the World Cup and going forwards. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.